Mm. Hello, macchiato. Hello, and welcome to another video. My name is Heather, and as always, I'm reading with a vengeance, and I hope you are too.
Hello, Editing Heather here. As I was uploading the most recent videos that I recorded, I realized that I had a video that I recorded over a month ago to post while my mom was here because I knew I wasn't going to be able to record while she was here, and I forgot about it. And so it's been sitting there. And so that's what this video is. So if you have seen me talk about these books like in a wrap-up or something else, and it seems weird that I'm just talking about them now in a haul, that's why. I'm late in posting this video. I hope you enjoy it anyways, and I'll see you guys soon.
Yes, that's right. I've got more books to talk to you about. If you've been around a while, you know that I have had a couple of videos where I have mentioned a time or two where I say that I don't like to acquire a huge amount of books. And now I've made myself a liar because I can't stop acquiring books. It doesn't help that I work in a bookstore. And not only that, but I work in a bookstore that gives us and encourages us to read ARCs, not to mention just being around books all the time and seeing new releases and seeing books that I'd never heard of, and just shelving books as part of my job has just expanded my horizons as far as just having access to books that I normally wouldn't have access to. Here I am. I'd like to share some of those books that I've been able to bring home with you. I have 8 books to share with you today. Some have already come out, some are about to come out, and some are coming out a couple of months down the line. Before I forget, if you're new to my channel, very warm welcome to you. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. I really appreciate all of you, and I'm just so happy that you're enjoying it here. So let's get to the books in no particular order. The first one I will share with you is by a very, very popular author, and that is Colleen Hoover. This is Too Late. This is another mystery thriller that she's written. This one's already come out. I think it came out in June or July. And the reason I picked this one up is, as you know, Colleen Hoover has an extensive backlist of romances, the most popular of which is It Ends With Us, although I'm really hard-pressed to say that that one is a romance. I don't think that's a romance. I don't think it should be categorized as a romance, but we won't get into that. This one is a mystery thriller, and while It Ends With Us, I guess I enjoyed. I didn't love it. I didn't think it was the end-all be-all. I'm not waiting with bated breath for the movie to come out, but I really did love her first foray into the thriller genre, Verity. I really enjoyed that one. So to see that she came out with another mystery thriller, I scooped this right up out of the donation box. Don't worry, it'll go back into the donation box when I'm finished. It's marketed as psychological suspense of obsession and dangerous love. We're following Sloane. Sloane will go through hell and back for those she loves, and she does so every single day, caught up with the alluring Asa Jackson, a notorious drug trafficker. Okay, so we've got toxic relationships, so that's very much Colleen Hoover, right? Sloane has finally found a lifeline to cling to, even if it's meant compromising her morals. She was in dire straits trying to pay for her brother's care until she met Asa, but as Sloane became emotionally and economically reliant on him, he in turn developed a disturbing obsession with her, one that becomes increasingly dangerous every day. When undercover DEA agent Carter enters the picture, Sloane's surprised to feel an immediate attraction between them, despite knowing that if Asa finds out, he will kill him. And Asa has always been a step ahead of everyone in his life, including Sloane. No one has ever gotten in his way. No one except Carter. Together, Sloane and Carter must find a way out before it's too late. Okay, coffee's going to have to take backstage to books. All right, so next up is by an author I haven't read yet. He's been around for quite a long time, but I have him on my TBR. And I'll tell you why in a second. My manager at work and the 2 owners of the shop that I work at went to a book convention a couple of weeks ago, and my manager got her hands on an ARC, and as she was reading it, she said that she thought that I would like it, which that's just so touching to me, which is pretty funny considering the title of this book, but I'll get to that in a second. But anyway, she read a book that she thought that I would like, so she brought me the ARC, and that is Touched by Walter Mosley. Walter Mosley wrote a series that started with The Devil in a Blue Dress, which was ultimately made into a movie with Denzel Washington. And I've been wanting to read his stuff for a very long time. And so it looks like this is going to be the first one that I will read by him. And the way that my manager described this book is very engaging, but really weird. And I just love that she thought of me. Intergalactic visions, deadly threats, and explosive standoffs between mostly good and completely evil converge in a dystopian fantasy that could only be conceived by the inimitable, wow, that's a $5 word, Walter Mosley, one of the country's most beloved and acclaimed writers. Martin Just wakes up one morning after what feels like and might actually be a centuries-long sleep with two new innate pieces of knowledge. Humanity is a virus destined to destroy all existence, and he is the cure. Martin begins slipping into an alternate consciousness with new physical strengths to violently defend his family, the only Black family in their neighborhood in the Hollywood Hills of Los Angeles, against pure evil. Think Octavia Butler meets Jeff Vandermeer meets Jordan Peele. Hello! Expansive and innovative, sexy and satirical, Touch brilliantly imagines the ways in which human life and technological innovation threaten existence itself. Hopefully this isn't above my pay grade intellectually, but I'm super excited about this, and I'm just really touched that my coworker thought of me when she was reading this book. And this cover, it's creepy. Look at that. Next up is a book that I got an ARC for, but it's already out now. And the thing that got my attention is the cover and the title. And I'm sure if my mom, if you're watching this, and I know that you are, you'll get a little giggle out of this. And this is The History of a Difficult Child by Mihret Sibhat. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but there's the cover. This is a debut novel, so that's always exciting for me. And it's about the indomitable, another $5 word, the indomitable child of a scorned, formerly landowning family who must grow up in the wake of Ethiopia's socialist revolution. Wisecracking, inquisitive, and bombastic, Salam Azmelash is the youngest child in her large, boisterous family. Even before she is born, she has a wry, bewitching omniscience that animates life in her small town in southwestern Ethiopia in the 1980s. Salam and her father listen to the radio in secret as the socialist military junta that recently overthrew the government seizes properties and wages civil war in the north. Salam's family, once an enterprising land-owning family, are ostracized under the new regime. In the small town where they live, nosy women convene around coffee ceremonies multiple times a day, the gossip spreading like wildfire. As Salam's mother, the powerful and relentlessly dignified Degitu, grows ill, she embraces a persecuted Pentecostal God and insists her family convert alongside her. The Azmalashes stand solidly in opposition to the times, and Salam grows up seeking revenge on despotic comrades, neighborhood bullies, and a ruthless God. Wise beyond her years, yet thoroughly naive, she contends with an inner fury, a profound sadness, and a throbbing, unstoppable pursuit of education, freedom, and love. So it looks like this is historical fiction taking place in an African country. I am intrigued. I have not read anything out of Ethiopia yet, so this one I think will be a learning experience for me. So I hope to get to this one soon. Next up is another book that I also got an ARC for, but this one's already been released. This one came out in August, and that is Sparrow by James Hynes. I am not familiar with this author. The cover grabbed my attention. Told from the perspective of an enslaved boy being raised in a Roman brothel, a stunning novel of identity, family, suffering, and freedom. In a brothel on the Spanish coast during the waning years of the Roman Empire, a young enslaved boy of unknown parentage is growing up. His world is a kitchen, an herb-scented garden, a loud and dangerous tavern, and finally, the mysterious upstairs where the wolves do their business. Named after the Muses and coming from across the vast empire, the wolves are Sparrow's surrogate family. They are his mothers and his sisters, his guides in a rough life and his solace from it. But a hard fate awaits Sparrow, one that involves suffering, murder, mayhem, and the scattering of his little community. So this one sounds like it's got a bunch of elements that I really love in a book, and that is historical fiction. Looks like we have coming of age, a murder mystery, So a bunch of boxes checked for me. A young boy being raised by whores in a brothel. We'll see how that goes. Also, the Roman Empire. I don't think I've read a whole lot of historical fiction during that time period, so that'll be new for me. I think this cover is beautiful, though. Hopefully I can get to that one soon. The next two books I was able to get ARCs for, and I'm not sure how I feel about these because these next two I'm going to talk about are on the long list for the Booker Prize. So I know a lot of other people are talking about these books, but the Booker Prize isn't one that I have followed, and I am still on the fence on whether or not I'm going to follow it. And perhaps by the time I get to these books, maybe I'll make the decision then. But the first one that I was able to get my hands on was The House of Doors by Twan. I have not read this author. I don't even know if this is a debut, but as I said, it's on the long list for the Booker Prize, and this one comes out in October, at least in the States it does. It looks like historical fiction. The year is 1921. Leslie Hamlin and her husband Robert, a lawyer and war veteran, are living at Castlewary House on the Straits settlement of Penang when Willie Somerset Maugham, W. Somerset Maugham, a famed writer and old friend of Robert's, arrives for an extended visit with his secretary Gerald. The pair threaten a rift that could alter more lives than one. Maugham, one of the great novelists of his day, is beleaguered. Having long hidden his homosexuality, his unhappy and expensive marriage of convenience becomes unbearable after he loses his savings and the freedom to travel with Gerald. His career deflating, his health failing, Maugham arrives at Castlewary House in desperate need of a subject for his next book. Leslie, too, is enduring a marriage more duplicitous than it first appears. Maugham suspects an affair and, learning of Leslie's past connection to the Chinese revolutionary Dr. Sun Yat-sen, decides to probe deeper. But as their friendship grows and Leslie confides in him about life in the Straits, Maugham discovers a far more surprising tale than he imagined, one that involves not only war and scandal, but the trial of an Englishwoman charged with murder. It is, to Maugham, a story worthy of fiction. Okay, interesting. I didn't realize that a real-life author was featured in this story. And as I see the cover of the book, this is not a debut novel because it looks like this author was Booker Prize shortlisted with his book, The Garden of Evening Mists. As I flip through it, it looks like it is multiple perspective and multiple timelines. So it looks like it flips back and forth. But it sounds somewhat interesting. I think really that I picked it up because I saw that it was longlisted on the Booker Prize, and I was still kind of trying to decide if I was going to follow the prize. And since I was able to get my hands on this, that's why I grabbed it. I'm not quite sure if this is something that really compels me. Even though it's historical fiction, I'm not really sure if this is one that will be for me. I don't know. Jury's still out on this one, but I have it. Goes in the pile of definite maybes. And the other book I grabbed because it's on the long list for the Booker Prize is How to Build a Boat by Elaine Feeney. I don't really know a whole lot about this one. This is also an ARC, and this one doesn't come out in the United States until November. It says she is an award-winning author, so it looks like she's been around the block for a while. There's a blurb by Douglas Stewart, who wrote, of course, Shuggie Bain and Young Mungo, says, one of those rare books that leaves you feeling less lonely. See, we got Jamie O'Neill loves the color red. He also loves tall trees, patterns, rain that comes with the wind, the curvature of many objects, books with dust jackets, cats, rivers, and Edgar Allan Poe. Another book that features another author. Interesting. Coincidence? Is there a theme to the Booker Prize long list? At age 13, there are two things he especially wants in life: to build a perpetual motion machine and to connect with his mother, Noelle, who died when he was born. In his mind, these things are intimately linked. And at his new school, where all else is disorientating and overwhelming, he finds two people who might just be able to help him. How to Build a Boat is the story of how one boy and his mission transforms the lives of his teachers, Tess and Taj, and brings together a community. Written with tenderness and verve, it's about love, family, and connection, the power of imagination, and how our greatest adventures never happen alone. This and The House of Doors seem like two books that I would do well in trying a chapter, which I have kind of toyed with the idea of doing kind of a try a chapter vlog type video. I don't know if that's something you guys would be interested in, but I feel like these two books would be perfect for that type of experiment. So I was able to grab that one. I'm somewhat excited about it. What is it about book prizes that make you excited about books that you wouldn't normally be excited about? I don't know. Who knows? All right, these last two books I am super excited about. One is by an author I have read and loved. In fact, one of her books has been on my all-time favorites list. The other author is a very popular author. I haven't read her yet, but I've been wanting to read her. Anyways, let me get to it. This next book is by Kristin Hannah. She's coming out with a new book in February. I'm super excited about it for so many reasons. I have The Women. So Kristin Hannah wrote The Nightingale, of course, among many other books that are favorites of you all. I haven't read The Four Winds yet. I mean to. I haven't read The Great Alone. I mean to. I know I'm going to love them. It's just, you know, so many books. But when this one became available to me, I snatched it right up. Typically, I love historical fiction that takes place around World War II. But lately, I've been seeing a lot of books that are historical fiction that take place around the Vietnam War, and I'm excited about that. So that's what this one surrounds too. I love this cover. When 20-year-old nursing student Frances Frankie McGrath hears these unexpected words, it is a revelation. And the words she's talking about are women can be heroes too. Raised on idyllic Coronado Island, which, by the way, is in San Diego, where I was born and raised, and sheltered by her conservative parents, she has always prided herself on doing the right thing, being a good girl. But in 1965, the world is changing, and she suddenly imagines a different choice of her life. When her brother ships out to serve in Vietnam, she impulsively joins the Army Nurse Corps and follows his path. As green and inexperienced as the men sent to Vietnam to fight, Frankie is overwhelmed by the chaos and destruction of war, as well as the unexpected trauma of coming home to a changed and politically divided America. The Women is the story of one woman gone to war, but it shines a light on the story of all women who put themselves in harm's way to help others. Women whose sacrifice and commitment to their country has all too often been forgotten. A novel of searing insight and lyric beauty, The Women is a profoundly emotional, richly drawn story with a memorable heroine whose extraordinary idealism and courage under fire define a generation. I am super excited about this one. I actually might do a reading vlog, which I have not done before, but I can't help it. We have an author that I love, an author of one of my all-time favorite books. We're dealing with a time period that I'm super excited about, historical fiction, a genre that I love. And we're talking about women and women's accomplishments that have gone untalked about. So yeah, super excited about this one. I can't believe how lucky I am to have gotten a copy of it. Do you guys watch reading vlogs? Let me know if that's something that you would be interested in, because I feel like I would want to do a reading vlog for this one and just kind of do a standalone review before this even comes out. Like I said, it doesn't come out until February of 2024. Yeah, super excited about that one. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. And finally, as I said, this last book is by a very popular author, although I think I have two other books by her, but I haven't read her yet. And the author I'm talking about is Rachel Hawkins. And she wrote, of course, The Villa, and
she's written a bunch of stuff. What has she written?
The Villa, Reckless Girls, The Wife Upstairs. Did I read The Wife Upstairs? I can't remember. But anyways, we have The Heiress, which is coming out in January of 2024. I'm quite certain this is a mystery thriller. It says Hawkins is the reigning queen of suspense. There's nothing as good as the rich gone bad. North Carolina's richest and most notorious woman, Ruby McTavish Callahan Woodward Miller Kinmore, is now dead, but she lived a million lives. As a young child, she was the victim of an infamous kidnapping. As a woman, she became a widow 4 times over. She married for lust, for obligation, and ultimately for love. She ruled the tiny town of Tavistock from Ashby House, her family's estate high in the Blue Ridge Mountains, and she left it all, fortune and pain, to her adopted son, Camden. Camden wants none of it, and even less to do with the surviving McTavishes, who are as poisonous as his inheritance. But 10 years later, Camden finds himself back in Ashby House, where long-buried secrets start to crack through the facade, and questions about the infamous heiress come to light. Deception leaves a killer legacy. This one sounds like a lot of fun, and I feel like all of her books are like that, you know, dark and twisty, but fun. So this will probably end up being, I can't remember, I have to look. Nope, I haven't read The Wife Upstairs. I haven't read any Rachel Hawkins. Let me come out from underneath my rock. Anyways, this will probably be the first one that I read from her because I want to be able to get a review up before it comes out. A mystery thriller that takes place in the South. Those are a couple of ticks in my reading boxes that I enjoy. Any of you Rachel Hawkins fans out there, I would love to hear your thoughts. If you are Rachel Hawkins fans, here you go, some excitement for you. Anyways, The Heiress by Rachel Hawkins. So that's it. Those are the books that I was able to get my hot little hands on. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found some books that you can now be excited for to add to your TBR. You're welcome. Which of these books do you think I should read first? I think I asked that question in my last haul video, and some of you actually did suggest some books that you would like to hear about first. So I think I'm going to follow that lead, and I am going to pick the one that you most recommended and read that one next. And I'm going to do the same for this video too. So if you have something that you want to hear about first, with the exception of the women, because I think that's going to end up being a vlog. Anyways, I feel real chattery right now, so I'm going to wrap this up. Tell me what you want me to read first down in the comments below, or you could just say hi. If you're still watching at this point, please consider giving that like button a boop, and a subscribe would be wonderful. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.